working with business on behalf of the business climate of the city, what effect that the state and federal governments have in the economy. So it's really important to come up with new ideas, new suggestions to improve the quality of service, to cut the costs, and at the same time, the business atmosphere here in the city of Chicago. So we, as a city, can be competitive, not only with cities here in America, but throughout the world, and we're on a global competition. And if you listen to all the business leaders, they're all global. It is not just being situated here in the city. They have national and global companies in a sense that the world has affected their operations as well. And so towards that goal, how do you better manage government continually? And that's always an ongoing effort that I thoroughly enjoy. Cut and control spending, which is important because it costs taxpayers more and more money if government just keeps spending, whether federal, state, or local governments. It's our responsibility to lead the way and do what is necessary. At the same time, protecting taxpayers and also restructuring things. I pointed out, you've heard me time and time again, this is not a recession, it's a restructuring of all the things that you may believe that it worked in the past will not work in the future, and that has a huge impact upon services, has a huge impact upon employment, and so that's what we're looking at. How to transform government for the 21st century and where everybody else is transforming in the private sector continually. So we met with a group of business leaders, how to better management government and cut the spending as well. Their ideas were very, very helpful. Their assistance will be greatly dealing with executives working in each department, looking at the flow of paper, the flow of revenue, and the flow of costs, which is really important. We need those people from the private sector really come in and help us. Sometimes government cannot help itself, and so you need people from the private sector to come in and say, okay, this is what we're doing. Can you look at it differently? This is how we control our costs. This is how we control things, and a better service to our customers, and of course, better services to our citizens. So how do you make government work? And so, first of all, I'm determined that we get our hiring procedures correct. The people of Chicago need to have confidence in all the procedures and know they have the same fair chance of getting a city job. At the same time, we are not hiring. I mean, it's very, very limited, and very limited in regards to hiring. I mean, that's how the economy has set the structure. So with that in mind, I'm going to issue an RFP to outsource hiring for certain positions in city infrastructure departments, streets and sanitation, transportation, water management, aviation, and general services. And then eventually we'll go into professions. We think we have to do that because today, you have, example, we're seeking to hire disabled veterans at 911 and 311. We owe that as a nation to the disabled veterans. At the same time, we have to be able to figure out when we need hirees, outsourcing that. It gets too complicated in government, the whole procedures. And this way, they can do all the work that is necessary and then look at that. We are seeking proposals from firms with recruitment and hiring expertise hired for certain trade positions in these departments, including carpenters, electricians, laborers, and plumbers. Unfortunately, in those departments, I mean, in those trades, unemployment is so rapid in the trades, which is really very, very sad. So again, we're looking at that. The firm will require to post the jobs, recruit, screen applicants, all in accordance with the city's hiring plan, rules, and regulations, so they can read that and do it alone, and it'd be a pilot program, and we'll expand it to other departments if this works. And we think it's going to work because it works in the private sector. We know it can work in the public sector. I'll make it clear that that should the RFP come back with bids that we cannot afford, we will not use it if we cannot afford it. And we look at that, and we have to get our cost involved. We have to find out our real cost. Government many times hide costs, and it's, oh, we can do it cheaper, but when you get it, the process is so slow, so long and longer process, it gets much more difficult. So, of course, we're always looking for new ways. This does not have anything to do with any oversight by the Inspector General's office. This has nothing to do with it, so you have to understand that. The city, that office will continue to monitor the city's hiring process, responsible for other activities. Next, increased revenues, where we plan to announce the auction of 50 more city taxi cab medallions. We expect the auction will generate several $1 million in new revenue, increase the fleet from the current 6,800. Both of these steps are important in the economy as we look for a better way to generate revenue without harming taxpayers, creating jobs, and basically cutting costs. That's the other thing. Next, to further grow our revenue, we want to announce it. Is this a pilot project with partnership? It's not big, but it's small, dealing with sponsorship and celebrating all along the bridge houses on Chicago River. It has potential to bring in X amount of money. We can't say how much because then you inflate it and it comes back to haunt you. We look at the Riverwalk, movable bridges, and you can see some of the ideas. These are just ideas, so don't panic when you see these. So you have to understand these are just ideas. But it's something that you can generate some money. It's some money that you can generate. That's all you're trying to do that, especially around the major holidays, which is really important with festivities going on. And so it gives companies almost like kind of a sponsorship, which is really important for us. And it provides, let's be realistic, some revenue for the city, and without making a lot of expenses on it. Next, I want to announce that we have negotiated a new contract with Exelon to provide electricity to the city. The good news is that we're under our new contract, we save about $15 million across all funds in 2011 as compared to last year. It's very important. And everybody's doing that. The private sector is doing that. Government has to look at all steps of saving money, both in the private and both in government. And so, from my viewpoint, these are necessary steps for better management, including non-personnel spending by another 6%. And we continue to take 29 days off, 10% of my salary. Department heads are taking 24. Government employees are taking 12 furlough days, and of course, fire and police are exempted. But again, everybody has to do their part because taxpayers don't have enough money. The economy is really hurting them on a daily basis, and we in government has to respond to that. And that's why I always ask the state and federal governments to take time off like we do, whether it's 29 days. I think from the president, governor, all the way down should do the same thing, because you have to lead by example. And it's tough for everyone, but we don't lead by example, then we live in a different world. You have to live in the world of reality, which is a very, very tough economy. At this time, I'd like to introduce Tony Anderson, Vice Chair and Midwest Managing Partner, Ernst & Young, who helped us tremendously. He's been one of our great assets in the city, and bringing the business community together and listening to their ideas will help us tremendously, and their assistance and their advice. Thank you.